What's up, world? It's your boy guy named Tye, and thank you so much for checking out this first episode of the Student of Life podcast. Now, we like to say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And today we have an amazing guest for all of you. Now, I have a pretty lengthy bio here, so I'm going to be reading off a couple of this just to make sure I'm getting everything right for you guys. But he's the founder of What's a Dodo and the Golden Joker comedy shows. He's helped bring an international food company and food franchise to Toronto. Most recently, he focuses on helping people with protecting their financial futures with Tiptoe Financial. He has a long history in helping people in Toronto, and it's my pleasure to call him Dad. Please welcome Travis Montague to the podcast. Hey, Travis.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
So how are you doing today?
Doing well. Doing very well. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to be doing this podcast and testing this out. It's going to be exciting. So we have a lot of, we're going to go through a lot of different questions that I have for you today.
Okay.
Now, the first question is, what is the book or books that you have given most as gifts and why? Or what are the books that have greatly influenced your life?
Okay. One of the books that really influenced me is The Magic of Thinking Big. I forgot the name of the writer, but that book was one of the first books, was given to me as a gift. And I always try to give it to other people as a gift because it kind of helps people with growth mindset. Rather than people being in a fixed mindset, it helps them to find ways to wear the different hats of the different types of careers and opportunity that they can find themselves into. That book basically helped me when I started out doing my first business. It helped me put on the hat of like, okay, if there's anything that I wanted to do, I just basically put on that persona that, hey, I'm that the manager or the director of a comedy company and such. I didn't keep a mindset that I wasn't able to do it. I just put on that mindset that I am that person and that's who I was, and just set the goals to do the things and the creativities that came to my mind to make things happen. Okay. So it's kind of like it's kind of like when you want to be a police officer, and once you pull out that policeman's hat, you become that police officer. Suddenly you leave from being a father to being a police officer. If you want, whatever you want to be, just put on that hat and basically focus on that the goal and the energy that you want to have.
So it's really stepping into that role and all whatever responsibilities come with it, the energy that needs to be with it, just being able to step into that and embody it completely to then get your things done, is what I'm hearing a lot of.
Like I even remember personal training. I had no clue about personal training, what I was doing as a personal trainer. I kind of knew what I was like. I knew for myself how I attained certain goals, but to train someone, I just kind of like said, just put that hat on and just thought to myself, what would a personal trainer do? How can I be a personal trainer, a mentor to somebody else and help them grow and develop? And just put on that hat and went with it. And things went very well.
Our next question is, how has a failure or apparent failures set you up for later success? Do you have a favorite failure of yours?
I've had many failures. My favorite failure, I just know that all my failures actually brought me to some growth. Failure that I can think of right now. A failure. These are deep questions. You should have prepared me for these questions. A failure that I've had. Well, I want to say that there's been in the failure of like I think procrastination is a form of failure. I'm not gonna say like when you procrastinate and you put things off. Like for instance, I had a personal friend who needed we were working on getting some coverage for him and such. I lost contact with him for say about 2 years. And I didn't put through the policy. I didn't put through the coverage for him and such. And when I did catch back up with his brother, I found out that he died. And that's a huge failure on my part because I didn't follow through with getting him the coverage he needed for his life insurance for his policy. Apparently he had some kind of complication. He dropped in the shower and his wife came and found him dead in the tub. And that left the family. He's the main provider of the home, and that left his family with nothing. And I feel that was a great failure on my part because I didn't follow through with going there, meeting up with him and getting him coverage and such. And therefore his family had to go do the GoFundMe thing and get other people to help them out with funeral expenses. And then in the long run too, she ran into situations where she had to sell her house and all these different things just to make ends meet and such. And I have my license and I should be practicing, and I didn't do my due diligence to make sure I got to him when he was trying to get to me to get this coverage when he was in his prime and healthy and well enough to afford it. So, I mean, I look at that as a failure because, it's a huge failure because the whole family got affected because this gentleman wasn't set up properly. So that's one failure I think about often, where I know I want to meet with more families to kind of put things in place and put things in perspective to make sure that they, if their most important asset, their income, is protected, so that the whole family dynamics doesn't fall apart. So that's a failure I think about often, especially on a daily when I'm thinking about why I'm doing this business right now. Yeah,
that's a very deep one, and I think that our listeners can really get a lot from that as far as making sure that they don't procrastinate with things that are important to them, things that are important to other people that can impact other people's lives. But since you talked about life insurance, I know that I mentioned Tiptoe in the beginning. Can you just let us know what Tiptoe Financial stands for, and then what the vision of it is?
Well, Tiptoe Financial basically means tomorrow's promise to no one. Protect your most what's most important to you. Tiptoe Financial, it's basically it sounds slow. It means taking your time to building your dreams, but you take it a step at a time. Each day, basically what we do is we meet with our clients and we review their financial goals and make sure they're on route, just like how a personal trainer like yourself, you meet with your clients ever so often to make sure that they're reaching their fitness goals. What we do is we sit down with families and make sure they're reaching their financial goals. A lot of it surrounds insurance and protecting, again, that income, that then also paying off debts and looking at how to reduce taxes and stuff like that. So that's basically what Tiptoe is right now.
Okay, and that's dope. I definitely think we're going to have another podcast where we go deeper into finance, because as our listeners know, I like to cover fitness, finance, and lifestyle.
Right.
And so we'll go deeper into everything that life insurance can do for folks on each day. But thank you for sharing. And I think that that will actually help a lot of people really consider not procrastinating and taking that step in everything in life. Okay. Let's jump into our next question. Now, if you could have a gigantic billboard, wow, my camera just decided to leave me. We're back. If you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say and why?
A gigantic billboard
with anything on it, what would it say and why?
These are good questions. Really should have prepared me for this. How about this? Become obsessed with the process, not the results.
Okay.
Why would I say that?
Yeah.
You know, as you go through life, the process of getting to your success in your dreams should be more fun. And when I say be more fun is get into things that you enjoy doing, not just don't do things for the purpose of, you know, it makes me 100,000 a year, or it's gonna, you know, it's just the thought of what the monetary is gonna bring. I find that oftentimes you can be wealthy in a way where it's not, doesn't have a lot to do with money, but the money will come if you're the best at something that you do. People recognize you for being the best at something you do because you not only have the enjoyment for it, you have the passion for it, you know. And I guess I even told you this. I said, don't ever do things you enjoy, because the only way you're going to get up in the morning and or feel positive about yourself is to do things that you enjoy. And when I say become obsessed with the process is become like the journey to reaching your goals, to reaching your dreams, to reaching the result, the long-term results that you're looking for. The journey should be enjoyable. So you become obsessed with what you're doing, but you're enjoying it at the same time. And the result will come, right? But when you get to that result, you probably would have passed your result, but you're having so much fun, you didn't realize that you've attained your dreams and goals already, you know? And dreams and goals can come in different forms, you know what I mean? Again, it doesn't all have to settle around the big house and the fancy cars and the you know, the bling. Often clients I meet these days, it's not about the bling. They just want to have a comfortable life and be able to do the things that maybe they weren't able to do when they're you know, in certain parts of their lives, but they look forward to those dreams and goals still. And it doesn't have to be like the big things, but the process and getting there should be fun. So that's what I would say. For everybody who has a dream and goal, go after it and have fun with whatever you're doing, because that's it. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, stress kills, you know. Stress brings on all these different types of ailments. And you know, before you even reach a certain age, you're sick and you're ill and you can't enjoy the long-term, you know, goals and dreams that you're after. So yeah, I would say that. It would say become obsessed with the process and not the results. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a powerful one.
Because if you really think about it, if you think about what you're going to have to go through to get the result, and you make that you're just focusing on the result, then you won't make it. You know,
because sometimes like you might have the expectation that you're going to get a certain result and it doesn't happen, and that could then it can be unmotivating, it can be disheartening. So now you don't push as hard as you would if you're just excited with the process of doing the thing.
Right.
That comes with it. Like, that's something that I always found interesting. Like, when I run shows or when I was doing events, the process of creating the show, the process of getting people together, the process for me of actually being there and on the day of and running it, the run around, the making the last minute, I gotta go get ice, someone forgot it, the whole process that day, up to that day is what I actually love. Yeah, sure, we make money. And I like, part of my goal is to have my friends and the whole team be able to live off of running events. But it's like actually doing it. I don't think people understand how much I love doing it. Like,
imagine. So for instance, I've had shows where only 5 people show up, and the whole process of getting it together, setting it up, and all those things were, you know, it cost a lot of money. I brought a 5-piece band to a show, and only 5 people showed up. But the thing is, I was up against Caravana, and I guess it's a learning process too. a learning process where now I know, okay, this certain time of the year, you don't do that. And that was a learning process, right? Although the show was a huge failure, like when I say literally the only people who were at that show were like family and friends and a few people for some of the performers. And those people obviously get in to the event for free because, you know, some of them get in for free because they're just there to support their family, and we offer them that opportunity to come in and enjoy it for free. But when the place is empty and you have a 5-piece band and you got like 10 comedians ready to go and there's nobody there and everyone's looking like, what happened? You're like, you know, do I pack it up and give up and say, you know, the result, I failed and it's no good? The process was fun. You know, the process was what I was enjoying. The result, okay. The result is, okay, I learned how to do better and I jump back in there and do it again. But if I was just focused on the result and not thinking, okay, this is a learning process, because the result of that one show was a learning process, then I wouldn't do other shows and be as successful as I was with doing the other shows. Yeah. Right? I would have thrown in the towel and say the result today was horrible and I'm not doing it again because I lost like $3,000-$4,000 in the process. Yeah. It's a learning process. It's a learning curve. How can I do it better? What can I do next? I had fun. This is what I enjoyed doing. I'm not going to stop. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go and hop into our next question. Yeah, that one was deep. I think our audience and everyone listening, either if you're listening on the podcast, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're seeing this on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you're watching this, I hope that you guys are getting as much value out of this as I am, because this is hey, I'm a student here on the Student of Life podcast. This is so far absolutely amazing, and whether both reminders of things that I need to know and things that I didn't know, things that I didn't know that I didn't know, we're getting it all taken care of here today. We have a whole bunch more questions for you guys, or for Travis today, and a lot more answers for you guys and lessons for all of you students of life out there to get from this. So let's hop into the next one. So what's one of the best or most worthwhile investments that you have ever made?
Best or worthwhile investment that I've ever made. Oh, no, why you didn't prepare me for these questions. Best or worthwhile investment I've ever made. Well, my education is an investment I made that is worthwhile. I mean, I've done accounting, I've done cooking. You know, I've invested into the best and most worthwhile investment is just my education overall. Overall, and if you're talking about monetary investment,
anything.
Not that a lot. I think investment in reading, investing your time in learning from other people, like investing your time is important. There's so much people invest their time into school and come out with nothing, right? I mean, school is important. You invest so much money to school, but when I invest my time in you, like for instance, and we have conversations, and investing my time in people who are more successful than myself, right? To sit down and learn from them. I invested getting this license for insurance. I think that's one of the most valuable things I've invested my time in, but it surrounds learning. You know, most of my time I spend every so often investing in learning something new and learning from someone new, learning from people who are better than myself. Investing your time into things like that, building your brain and building yourself up is so important. And it doesn't come from just going to school and getting the education. It comes from investing your time and surrounding yourself with people who are positive and who are going somewhere with their lives and having good conversations. invest. So, I mean, if you're asking me for one thing, I am so like diversified with so many things I've done. I can't point out to one thing. I can just only point out to the one thing I can say is investing my time into learning and positive people. Those types of investments and things that I internally take with me for the rest of my life. No one can ever take that away from me, and then there's always something I can share with someone else that I've learned from reading something or talking to somebody who is either better than me or has some kind of knowledge that I can take from them. School is a great tool too, but I mean, most of my invested time with people and learning from people is like so valuable to me, So I can't think of one thing per se, but just gaining knowledge and surrounding myself with inspirational people.
Okay. All right.
Ambitious people.
All right. So the next question that we have here is, what is an unusual habit or an absurd thing that you love?
Oh, Lord. Unusual habit, absurd thing that I love. Oh, you really didn't prepare for these questions.
That's the theme today. We're not prepared. But I wanted to get the authentic.
Yeah, but these are questions that you don't expect. Unusual habit.
Yeah.
And
an absurd thing that you love.
Well, I have a very bad habit of, this is an unusual habit. I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but I have a bad habit of putting things in order. I think it's somewhat of OCD, but like when I used to work in a grocery store, when they say face up the store?
Yeah.
And I used to do really well at it. Like I would make the store look like picture perfect, line up everything, make everything look unison and order. When I'm done organizing the store and facing things forward, what they call it, you could take a picture and it looks like a picture. So I find myself liking to put things in order, organizing things. And that brings me to the habit of then liking to help people, thinking more in depth about a situation and finding solutions. I guess, or I don't know if that's unusual. I don't know. I think maybe that's a little unusual, because even when I go in the grocery store today, if something looks shifted, I honestly pull it forward. And I don't know if people see me in the grocery store going, what is this guy doing? Like, I'll see, like you have all the toothpaste. When it was made to look uniform, and then maybe someone took one away, I'll go in and I'll take it and I'll pat back on top and try to make it look organized again. And I don't even work there, but it's a very bad habit. Like even certain things in my life too, I like to try to put things in order, make it look uniform, or
have it just so.
I don't know if you consider it unusual or just OCD, but
it's unusual, and now I know where I get it from. Like, I like my things just so,
Yeah, I like to see things looking organized, uniform, and yeah, if it's out of place, I'll put it back in place. One time, tell you a strange story. I got up and it was early morning. I went to was getting ready to go to work, and I walk outside. This is when I was living out by I don't know if you know where Dufferin and Finch there. So I walk outside and I see a garbage can turned over, garbage spilled out of it and everything. And I walked across the street and I'm standing there waiting for the bus, and I'm looking at this garbage can, and it's really annoying me because the garbage was turned over, and I actually went and picked up the garbage can. I put the garbage in the garbage, and then I was like, I felt better because I just couldn't stand there looking at this. It was really annoying me to see that someone would do something like that.
Yeah.
And I took it up on myself to pick up the garbage can and make sure that, and I think that was very unusual because not a lot of people would do something like that. I don't think. It's not your business. You just like well, let someone else take care of it. But I don't know, it was just really bugging me and I couldn't stand to see it. So, and I do that quite often. If, and I was like at work, I will see something on the floor and I was walking with my partner and they're like, what happened? You're gone?
Yeah, my camera is just going to hop in and out here, but I'll be back in a second. I'm still here.
Oh. So I will be walking with one of my colleagues and it's like, I see something on the floor and I'm like, they look at me and go, you're going to pick it up? I'm like, I'm trying not to want to pick it up. But it looked out of order and I'm like, you know what? Someone might slip on it. Someone might get hurt on it. So I would pick it up. They're like, you're better than me because I'm not touching it. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I put on a glove and I pick it up and I throw it away because I don't know. I just have a weird way of thinking someone's going to walk by, slip on it, get hurt or something. So I just say, hey, what's the big deal? I pick it up. You know, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and that's I think we need more people doing that in our society. We have a much more beautiful place, you know, if everyone did their part and maybe more than their part, you know. It'd be great. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that unusual habit. It's definitely I understand where my desire, I'm just talking the box. This is where my desire to have things just so makes sense. You know. Okay, so our next question is, in the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
I think I told you this one. One of the things that most improved my life, getting up in the morning and spreading my bed. It's so strange that no matter what I do, I have to spread my bed now because it kind of puts some kind of organization to my life. It starts my day very well. Like I feel like if I leave my home with it being messy or, you know, my bed not being made, it kind of, and when I started doing it, I forgot the company I was getting mentored by, but I was being mentored and I had a few mentors, and that was one of the things they said to me: before you start your day, make sure your bed is in order. And I'm like, that makes no sense, whatever. So I'm like, okay. I started spreading my bed and I just found that my day, just for some reason, I mean, like organizing my bed, spreading my bed, and meditation and stuff like that, it actually makes the difference through my day. And then when I come back home, I also feel a lot more comfortable when I come back home to my bed. What was the other one?
Oh, that was behavior, habit, belief, behavior, or habit that has most improved your life.
Yeah. A new habit in the past 5 years, action speaks louder than words. Again, with my shows, it was like, you know what, if I say I'm going to do it, I have to make sure I start stepping into those words and start taking the actions to make things happen. It's, I find that these days it's like, words are so empty without action. You know, if I say I'm going to do something, I try my best to put action to it because it's kind of like, what's the point of saying things if you're not going to do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially if it's something positive. I'm not saying anything negative. Positive things that will uplift your life and uplift other people, bring value to you and other people. If you say you're going to do something, make an effort to do it. At least make the effort to do it. Know that you put your best foot forward. You took the necessary actions to try to meet those words. Right? It's not that you're trying to prove anything to anybody. Don't get me wrong. It's not that you're trying to prove anything to anybody. But if you're wanting to be successful, it's better to, if you say it, do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Find the actions. No, I was gonna say find the actions, take baby steps, whatever it takes to get you even to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And when you get the momentum going, try to continue moving with the momentum. Because once you stop, based on my experiences, once you stop the momentum, it's hard to then start pushing that vehicle again. Because when you reach a certain age, in life, you become tired, and you can't push that vehicle the same way you can at 25 or 30. You know what I mean? So
exactly, it's like when they say an object in motion will stay in motion, an object at rest will stay at rest. So if once you have the motion, don't give it up. Just keep going, and it'll probably be a lot easier to maintain that as well, right?
Yeah.
Video. Let me see. I think we're back. Nope, we're not back, and it's worse. I'm just gonna have my camera off for the next little bit, so it's not as distracting, so we can focus on you. Okay, so the next question we have is, what advice would you give to a smart, driven college student about to enter the real world?
Don't give up. Take it a day at a time. Every experience is a step closer to success. All your failures don't mean that you're never going to make it, because all your failures bring experience. Take notes of all your failures and make your failures a part of your success, because what's that saying about failing? I don't know. There's some kind of saying about failure. Fall forward, you know. I mean, every time you fall, get back up, brush yourself off, move forward. Don't count yourself out. And if you really are,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if be passionate about, make sure what you're doing, you're passionate about it, you know. And again, be obsessed with the process. You know, be inspired by having that vision. Keep your dream alive, actually. You know, like one of the things we talk about when we talk to people when we talk with people and their dreams and goals is like, okay, you know, are you still dreaming, or are you just paying bills? You know?
Yeah.
Are you actually looking to meeting those dreams and goals that you set out when you were a child, when you're a youth, or are you just paying bills? You know,
it's like, are you just existing and floating through life, or are you actually like, you know?
Because when responsibilities come on, I mean, there's going to be responsibilities, and you know, that takes you away from your dreams and goals often. But I mean, if you find a way to make things happen for yourself, just never give up on those dreams and goals. You know,
exactly.
Life does happen, and life, there are setbacks, but if you really, really want something, you can make it happen, you know.
What advice would you say that they should ignore?
What advice is, the people who say he can't, and people who, what's the word I'm looking for? People who aren't open-minded to trying new things. When people tell you that can't be done, or you know, it's impossible, or you know, stay away from negative-minded people. You know, stay away from negative-minded people who tell you it can't be done, and you know, try to deter you from your you know, because I've met so many people who told me things can't be done, and then when I do it, they're like, oh, okay, you know, and they never apologize or say, oh, well, I didn't see it that way or whatever. I mean, if you have something in your mind and you can see how it's possible, go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we have 5 more questions, and so far I think we're getting a whole lot of value from this entire conversation, especially what advice people should take and what they shouldn't take. Making sure that, hey, just because something's impossible for someone else does not mean that it's impossible for us. In fact, like some folks you'll hear say, impossible is simply saying I'm possible. And so that thing that is impossible to someone else is screaming at you that it is possible for you to do. Maybe that is the gift that you have to give the world, and no one else can bring that thing forward, you know? I think like how they say ideas are they float around. Ideas float around in the air, and whoever grabs onto them first, like if you're in tune with the right frequencies and you grab onto it, you can make that idea happen. And someone else may not have been given the gift of that same idea. So it's your job to create, to make it reality, and to give birth to it and bring it into this world. And that's something that all of us as being offsprings, or sons and daughters of creator and creation itself, is why should not allow those people that are being negative, or that don't understand the vision, or that are closed-minded. We shouldn't allow their perspectives and their point of views necessarily get into our mind and decide how we should or shouldn't be thinking, So I think that's some amazing advice for smart driven college students to take. And I hope that all of our smart driven college students that are watching this take that advice. So camera is back off, and let's try this one time. We should be back for the rest of this. There we go. Because I kind of like the interactiveness of actually having the camera on and working. It's kind of a little bit better than when it's not. In the last 5 years, what have you gotten good at saying no to?
What have I gotten good to saying no to? What have I gotten good to saying no to? In the past 5 years, what have I gotten good to saying no to? You should have got me prepared for these questions. What have I gotten good to saying no to? I haven't gotten good to saying no to chocolate yet. How about you? What have you gotten good to saying no to?
I've literally.
Hold on. Before you go, I've gotten good at saying no to people. And I think you were about to say it, but like I've always, like, if there's an idea, like someone comes to me with a new venture, I'm always ready to jump on and like go with it. Recently, I've been a little bit more focused and narrowing down myself to doing just what it is that my goal, what I'm set out to do. I'm trying to set myself up to just do one thing, because someone will come to me tomorrow and say, hey, I'm doing this and we're doing this. And I'm like, oh my God, that sounds interesting. And I'm running to go do something new. So I've gotten good at saying no to things that don't meet my goals at this time. Right. I'm trying to stay more focused on getting this business up and running full-fledged and becoming a real professional at it before I even look at any new ideas. So I've gotten good at saying no to new ideas. That bless you. That doesn't support my business and what I'm doing. I find often that I'm always ready to help other people with their businesses and help them become successful. And by the time I'm done putting my time and energy into those businesses, it's like, okay, I got to get back to what I was doing.
Yeah. And then you look at
so
yours
much time.
and like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's the same.
So what were you going to say?
Literally right before this phone call, I had someone call me and say, hey, drop what you're doing. Come and join this. I'd like to get on a Zoom call with you and this and that. I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to waste your time with the Zoom call, just because right now I'm so focused on the fitness company. I'm so focused on helping people with their finances. And um, the main reason why I even decided to do the finance thing is, like I told you before, like having the opportunity to build something with my dad, which I thought was dope.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what anyone else is saying, oh, there's better payment here, there, go do whatever. My biggest answer is like, nope, I'm only focusing on two things right now. I can't. Even if I wanted to, I can't. Sorry, not until these things have legs. You know, it's the way I've been looking at it is like someone trying to make me have more kids, and I'm like, my first kid isn't even walking yet, so
Yeah, that's
I
a good way
can't
to
do
look at it.
that. You know. Okay.
That's a really good way to look at it.
Overwhelmed or unfocused, what do you do?
Say it again.
When you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, what do you do?
I turn everything off. I turn everything off. I give myself a day. I can't say I go for walks and all that such, but I turn everything off, and I just, if I need to sleep, I sleep. If I need to just read a book or just find something to do to take my mind off of the stress, that's what I do. It's not good to overwhelm yourself or stress out over things. You're going to burn out before you can even reach your goals. Yeah. So I learning how to play piano right now. So it's like I practice my piano, I work on my vocals, I do whatever else that brings me joy. As you know, you've helped me with this little studio setup. I'm hoping
Wicked
that
studio.
Wicked
studio.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this will be my my outlet. Like once it's up and running properly, I can start making music and doing those things that bring back joy into my spirit. So.
Okay, dope. All right, these are the last two questions, and honestly, these two questions are the ones that a lot of people say are some of the hardest ones to ask. But after this student of life session shall be over, and yeah. So this first one is: what are 3 things that you know to be true?
Honesty. You said 2 things?
What are 3 things
that I know to be true?
Yep.
Being honest, being a trustworthy person, and I can't think of the words I'm looking for, but I know honesty to be true makes your life better. I know having the people trust you, and what's the word when people look up to you?
Not being a role model, being
well, honesty and trustworthiness can bring you so many places. And being what was the question again? Say it again.
What are 3 things that you know to be true?
Accountable. Being accountable for yourself, for your, I don't know. And that fall the same thing under trust?
Sort of.
I don't know, death and tax.
That's funny.
No, but I find that honesty and being reliable and trustworthy person is it and your integrity. I find that since I've become more of a person who is actually like at my workplace right now, it's like I just find that people enjoy being around me and trust me with things because they know that my word is my bond. Like my word goes a long way. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Your word is important. It is true that once you, because even for instance, and you know that I've had this experience where I had to cancel one comedy show I canceled, ruined my integrity for a little bit with the comedy community because I canceled out one show, right? Yeah. I made the mistake of canceling one show, and because because I didn't meet my word, it kind of trickled down the line to other people to make them feel like, okay, they just weren't comfortable with that, to know that. And word went around really quickly that, okay, he cancels shows, and they don't like that.
Yeah.
But your word is so important. You know, being a man of your word is so important. And that goes to be true because it builds good rapport with people, to know that you're a man of your word. And it also is helpful because people know that when it comes to a point where if it doesn't happen, it's not because you were intentional. They know your demeanor, they know your character, they know what you're about. And so it's easily to be forgiven.
Yeah.
And you're allowed the opportunity to fix it because they know, okay, you're normally a man of your word. A situation occurred. We understand. We forgive you, because so many people are walking around being hustled, being robbed, and then it's hard for them to trust anyone. And when they come across someone who is actually a person of their word, and when things go wrong, like say for instance, if you promised someone something like money, and something did go wrong, like you couldn't afford to come up with it. When that person's first impression of you is going to be, you're like the next, how many other people that ripped me off? Here you come now with that same nonsense. But if the person knows you over a length of time, you're always a man of your word. You're always, that one time you screw up, they'll forgive you, and they'll know that, you know, you're a man of your word. So it's just like really a situation you ran into. They don't have to worry about you and the type of person you are, right? So your word is very important. And yeah, I think you being a person of your word is very important, trustworthy and honest person.
Okay. And so, yeah. The last question that we have for today, to close off today's chat, is who inspires you?
Who inspires me? Wow.
Could be from childhood, could be from teenage, could be early adulthood, any time frame. Who has inspired you, or who inspires you?
Well, it's gonna be hard for you to believe. I watch you a lot, and you inspire me. The challenges that you faced that no one knows about, your personal challenges with personal situations, and how you stood against certain things. The way in which you're organizing your life and organizing yourself to be a better person, your goals and your ability to stick with those goals, and no matter what, you keep on striving through the good, the bad. You're pushing, and you're not giving up, and you find new ways. You inspire me. Like, I've been watching, and it's like you say, that the what is this thing called, teachers? What is this show called?
Podcast, The Student of Life. When the
Student of Life.
The teacher appears.
Right. And although I should be your teacher, and your teacher, and I mean, you can always learn from everybody. It doesn't matter what age the person is, right? I feel that there are people too who are older than me who are learning from me too. It's not a thing of ambition. It's to say, oh, look, you're learning from a younger person or whatnot. It's just a matter of perspective as to, like, someone is doing something that is influential, whether they're old, young, or indifferent. I mean, but it just happens to be that it's, and again, I'm pretty sure there's someone younger than you one day that might inspire you. But, you know, right now, I think I want to say you inspire me, because you're you don't, like, you know, when you say you're going to do something, you do it. I remember when I bought you that first guitar, and you're like, I asked you, I said, what do you want, the guitar just because a friend bought a guitar? And you're like, no, Dad, I want to learn guitar. And I'm like, you better play this guitar, I'm going to beat you with it. Remember? And then, and then you're like, and so I bought you the guitar, and then you came back playing Bob Marley's song Off the Bat. And I was like, where'd you learn that? How'd you learn that so quick? And then I was like, oh, you really did want the guitar. And then when you decided to be a personal trainer, I was like, why you want to be a personal trainer? Like, I was in my head, I'm like, okay, he's following somebody again. But then you went in, you did it, you came out. I didn't think you were ever going to go to college or do anything with your life. Like, I honestly thought, you know, your situation. I didn't think that you would actually pick yourself up and do the things you've done and do the things that you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And if you ask anybody at my workplace, I always talk about you and show you off things you're doing, because you can become, and I've said this to you before, you can become a really successful, motivational speaking person, as long as you stick to it and you don't give up, and you know that every day is a learning process, and that you're gonna keep on learning from your mistakes, but also learn from other people. And not everybody who is not successful in a life doesn't mean they're really a failure. It just means that they just didn't get that opportunity, but you can still learn from them, right? Because there are people out there who are not living the high life, the high roller life and whatnot, but they can teach you a lot. And if you just sit down and have a conversation with a person who's even homeless, right, can teach you too. It doesn't mean that because a person is older, younger, doesn't have a big home or a fancy car or $1 million in their pocket, doesn't mean you can't learn from them. You can learn from anybody, right? And experience and being humble will take you a very, very long way. So know that people are watching you, and people are learning from you, and people maybe want to be like you and want to copy you, or, you know, but yeah, keep on doing whatever you're doing and try to get better at and be better at it.
Okay, Dad, thanks. Gave me the dad answer. He has to say this, guys. Thank you. I'm excited to continue putting out this content. This is the first episode of the Student of Life podcast. Thank you, Mr. Travis Montague, for being an honored guest. I think that everyone that's listening, watching, consuming this content has learned a lot today.
I want to be able to answer that question though. Like, what did I pay What did you say? $100 and what? Like, you got these questions in my head, and
that one. So let me go back to it. That one.
What is $100 or less that
what purchase of $100 or less has most positively impacted your life in the last 6 months or in recent memory?
I want to still answer that question, but I can't think of it.
Well, when you think of it, you text me. I'll add it in a little text icon.
What was the other question, dude? How many questions did I miss?
There's that one, and I think.
Oh, did you ask me a question about a book? Oh, I did answer that already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thinking. Was it The Magic of Thinking Big? It's the book.
Yeah. There's another book I'm reading. It's called The Mindset, and I would like for you to probably I'll send it to you, but it's a really good book. And then they have another one called Growth Mindset, and then they have one called Coaching Growth Mindset. Obviously you're a growth mindset person because you do accept challenges and such. But it's the fixed mindset that is like, when you read about fixed mindset people, it's like, wow. But these are you will be surprised to find out the types of successful people that are fixed mindset people, wealthy people, successful, famous, but their mindset are so fixed that they don't even really accept challenges. It makes you wonder how come they are where they're at. But it's a good book. Who was it by? I'll tell you who it's by. Brain ain't so good. It's by whoops. Huh?
I'll have to check out this book.
Carol S. Dweck, PhD. It's called Mindset. Then they have the Growth Mindset, and then they have another one called Teaching or Growth Mindset Coach. Yeah, okay. It's a good book.
Definitely have to check those ones out. And you know what? We're gonna add all the books that are listed into the description of this video or podcast, so you guys can check them out. Both The Magic of Thinking Big and the Growth Mindset books. We'll have Amazon links, Kindle links. We'll see if we can get the audiobook links so you guys can, for those of you that like to listen to stuff like I do, so you can enjoy listening to it while you're working out or in the car. Okay, so with that, I think we're at 1 hour and 10 minutes. We're gonna close off this podcast. But Dad, thank you so much for being the first guest on this podcast.
No problem.
The goal is to have one out every Tuesday for the next couple of weeks. So we have a couple of guests lined up for y'all that you're absolutely gonna love. I hope you enjoyed today, and I hope that you enjoy what we have in store for you coming up in the near future. With that, we're gonna call it a day, and we'll talk to you guys in an upcoming video. Remember, put your best foot forward, and whenever the student is ready, teacher appears. Peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Tye Aarons Podcast. Remember that right now you can get 40% off the Lean Beast, which is for men, and the Lean Leopard, which is for women, fitness program by Release the Beast Fitness, our sponsor for today. Hope you have a powerful day. I'm excited to see you or spend some time with you guys in the next podcast. And that's pretty much it. Peace.